Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. Today I'm going to do something that seems like it's going to become a monthly thing. I'm going to roast the Women of Marvel podcast. Now, I think it's going to be a monthly thing. It seems like it comes out every month, but they have it like 176 of these podcasts, but they only go back to 2014, so there must be more than once a month, but they say they're monthly. I don't know. So I want to roast this thing. Last one I did, I got a little more information out of it than roasting it, but this one I'm going to roast it. And there is some information in it too as well. Still, that's why I'm going through it. There is some information in it. That's why I listen to these things, but a little less than last time. Listening to it though, oh my good heavens, it's just so difficult. I tried a number of times and then I had to do what I did last time. I had to actually do something while I was listening to it so I didn't feel like I was wasting my time. So this time I put it on in the background and worked on the plumbing for my toilet. I'm thinking to myself as I'm working on the toilet, yeah, listening to this is kind of appropriate, isn't it? Anyways, so what the thing is Women of Marvel podcast, and this is what the actual podcast is about. This is what the tweet that they put up on Twitter says. From athlete to college sports analyst and host, Maria Taylor drops by to chat about her journey on a new episode of the Women of Marvel podcast. And then they have the little thing underneath saying, Taylor discusses her own athletic upbringing and how it helps her as a commentator now. Okay, this is on the Marvel Entertainment Twitter site. This is where they advertise them primarily, okay? And this is what it is about, believe it or not. And one of the things about this, okay, the first thing that struck me was when I was listening to this, first you got Judy Stevens and Sana Amanat. Judy Stevens is a producer at Marvel, and Sana Amanat, they're talking for about, 10 minutes or so, and then they get into the interview where Judy interviews this Taylor woman. But all three of them are talking about something that just, it brought something to mind. They were talking about traveling. And it made me think, I said before in a couple of my videos that there are some people, I'm sure, who work for Marvel who are salvageable, that, they're not full SJWs and they just need to be taken out of this mindset, and they could probably help make a good industry. But these two people, Sana Amanat and this Judy Stevens one, no, they're not salvageable. Now, they drank the Kool-Aid long and ever ago. And what they talk about here, they're traveling, all three of them, even their guest, are talking about how much they travel and how they travel so much. And their guest says this thing where she says, people ask me where I live, and I tell them, well, I live out of my suitcase at an airport because I travel so much. And then they laugh, thinking it's funny. It's not funny, lady. It's sad. It's really pathetically sad. And the other one is agreeing with her. Her actual Twitter handle is Judy is traveling, and she's saying that Sana is traveling more than her. And they're talking about, oh, isn't it fun how you get to go to all these hotels and you get room service and you get turn down service and you open up the windows or the curtains to your windows every day and you think to yourself, oh, this is a new experience. And I think to myself, I don't even know what city I'm in today. I can't even remember. They think that this is a good thing. Literally. This is them. They've drunk the Kool-Aid. They've drunk the feminist Kool-Aid so long ago that there's no helping these people, because literally these careers are the only things they're going to have in their lives. Because the three of them, they're not quite middle age, but they're pretty much pushing the expiration date of having a family. I can tell you that, because if any of them do have a family and they travel that much, well, they're not spending any time with that family. So it's like they don't have one. I'm assuming that neither the Sana Amanat or this Judy one have a family, and this other one certainly doesn't sound like she does either. So can you imagine that being the only thing that you have in your life? Can you imagine that saying that SJW Marvel is the only thing that you helped produce in your entire life? That's the only thing that can give your life meaning? Really? That's what Sana Amanat is going to have after a while. It's the only thing. That is so sad, pathetically sad. It reminds me of these interviewing that they're doing now with these older feminists from the 60s who are actually bemoaning the fact that this is what they chose to do when they were younger, because now they're dying sad and alone. And they just hate the fact that they listened to these feminists in the 60s and now they have nothing and their lives were just ruined. And yeah, Who told you that? I'm sure someone was there to tell you that to begin with, lady. And there's plenty of people that tell Son of Amanat and this other one that now. I can quote you Plato from 2,400 years ago telling people that. But no, they think that this is going to fulfill their lives. It's so pathetic. That's why they have to be given up on, because this is the only thing that they have in their life, right? This is the only thing they've ever built. This is the only thing that is their legacy. They're going to hold on with a death grip and put every nail in this Marvel coffin that they can possibly get in there. So yeah, these people have to be routed out. They got to be just pulled off like a leech, burn them off. You got to get rid of them. Anyways, so this interview itself, I like to listen to these things because I don't listen for the actual interview. I don't listen to what they're actually scripted to say. I'm listening to the bits that they aren't scripted to say. That's the funny part. That's where they actually let slip some information, right? And one of these things that they're talking about, because they're primarily talking about college football. You hear this woman, this person that they're interviewing, she tries to force these Marvel things into the conversation, and I just hung my head and I couldn't even open my eyes. I was shaking my head so much. It's like, oh my good heavens, lady, why would you even say that? That's so pathetic. You could tell that's forced. And she is saying that, yes, she's a big Marvel fan, but the only thing she knows is the Marvel movies. Well, guess what, lady? You're on the wrong channel then, because this is the channel that deals with the other Marvel entertainment. You need to go over to Marvel Studios. But no, all she's talking about is the movies and how great the movies are and all these other kinds of things that she's forcing into the conversation. But anyways, so this lady also has this organization where she helps women and minorities, people of color, she calls them also, to get into sports and to get into sport broadcasting. And the thing is that she makes this statement, okay? She makes this statement around 31:45. She says, so the more that we can continue to push diversity and put people of color in these roles, and then she goes on and on and on. But there's that word again. Do you notice that? Same word that was in the last podcast that Sana Amanat used. Push diversity. Sana, well, she was saying they needed to push ideas. Push positive ideas, but still push ideas. You see this? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about right here. This is your leftist, cultist kind of mindset. I got no problem with being pushed if I'm the one doing the pushing. I think that everyone should push themselves to their limit. Challenge yourself, push yourself. But these people are not talking about challenging themselves. They're talking about pushing these things on other people. This is what they're directly talking about. She literally says here, push diversity. Sana, you literally said in the last one of these things, push positive ideas, still pushing ideas, so they have to push these things on people. Literally. Can you imagine the mindset of these people? That this is part of their normal vocabulary and that they think it's normal to speak this way. Can you imagine how ingrained these ideas are in these people's minds? That they're actually speaking this way and believing it's right to push things on other people. Push ideas on other people. Push diversity on other people. Because when you're pushing something on another person, it's whether they like it or not, it's not actually consensual, because then it wouldn't be pushing it on them. And then she goes on to talk about how she has this all set up so that if anybody wants to give interviews to make their workforce more diverse and to give interviews to minorities and women and give them preference, well, she's ready to give them these women and minorities. She has a list ready. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, merit's got nothing to do with the job then, huh, lady? Got nothing to do with the job. But anyways, here's the thing that I'm really wanted to go over with this and talk about, because it betrays something that I've been talking about a couple of times in my videos and just in my last video as well. So you have this tweet, and like I said, this tweet, how they actually advertise these Women of Marvel podcasts is on the Marvel website itself, but it's hidden in a little corner. So they tweet it on the Marvel Entertainment Twitter page, right? So you have this tweet, and it has 32 retweets and 557 likes, right? Now, again, how many people are actually supposed to be followers of this Twitter page? 6.68 million. So Over 6.5 million people are supposedly following this Twitter page, and you have 32 retweets and 575 likes. And it's been up for, 4 days now. So, you think something's going on there? Can somebody tell me? Can you actually buy subscriptions? Can you go to Twitter if you have a pot full of money and say, hey, I want it to look like I have a lot of people following me, so just I'll buy some off you. Make it look like that. Is that possible? I'm thinking it's possible because if I hit these retweets, now it says 32 retweets. When I hit the retweet thing and see how many people and who they are that retweeted it, now there's only about 25 that show up, not 32. And I'm sure some of them are not actually positive. But when I look at them, a number of them have just been opened, like in this month. And a number of them are in Spanish. So I'm thinking, how does that work? I know some people could be bilingual, sure, but I'm not entirely sure why there's so many Spanish ones that have been opened in the last month that are doing this. And then you have people who actually retweet literally everything that gets posted on this site. Literally. But the more telling one was the 575 likes. When I hit that and tried to open it up and look at all these people that liked it, I could only actually view about 32. Again, anybody know how that works? Is there a limit to how many I can view? Because if there's not, then where did the other 520 or so go? I'm not entirely sure about that. And of the ones, again, that I actually looked through, a lot of them had been opened in the last month. A lot of them seem to be Spanish. Not entirely sure why that is. Can you buy likes? I think you can. Because if you go over to the actual page where the interview is posted, which is, I think it's, what is it called? SoundCloud, right? So if you have a tweet that has 575 likes, don't you think that you'd get a bunch of those people actually going, and it's about, an interview, wouldn't you think that those people would migrate over to where they actually post the thing and listen to it? Because I'm here looking at it, and there's only 186 listens, views of this thing. And 6 of them are probably me, because I had to try to listen to this so many times. But how does that translate? I mean, for me, I know some people might hit like on a tweet even though they didn't watch the video. I don't know why you'd do that, but maybe there would be people out there. It seems kind of idiotic to me. But hey, how can you have that many though? So basically the 575, even if they are real people, don't actually care about this interview enough to actually listen to it. And of the 186 people who listened to the actual thing, only 77 likes there and only 4 retweets there. So yeah, how exactly can you reconcile those two things? 575 likes over there, but only 77 likes here after 186 people listen to it. That doesn't compute to me. Something seems to be wrong there. Now, the funniest thing about this is the fact that if you're looking at this tweet, you're looking at it and it has 575 likes. It also has 81 responses to it. They got 81 people leaving a response to this tweet. Now, I went through every last single one of these responses, all 81 of them at the time that I'm doing this. There's only 81. Every last one of them is negative. Literally 100% of all the 100% of the replies to this tweet are negative. There is not one positive response to this thing. Not one. And everybody is saying, what in the world does this have to do with comics? Really. Some people are being nice about it, some people aren't. And one guy, he did this gif where he pulls out the chair and he's saying, ready to see this thing being ratioed? It is ratioed. 100% of the replies are negative to this thing. So here is a little glimpse into how Marvel's lifestyle brand is actually working for Marvel. Nobody who actually took the time to not to retweet, but to reply to this tweet, not a single one of them likes this. Not a single one. You got people who will hit like. Maybe let's assume, this is a big assumption. Let's assume that all 575 of these likes are actual people and not bot likes or people that are just hitting like out of fun for some reason. Let's assume that they're actual likes. Not a one of them had the wherewithal to actually put in a good comment for it. Not a one. And you only got 186 of them actually listening to it, and only 71 out of those actually liking it. So yeah, this is a big scam. The whole thing is a big scam. That's what I can see from what's going on here, that this Marvel lifestyle thing, they're basically buying likes, they're buying subscriptions, they're buying what these places like Twitter have for sale in order to make it look like people actually want to see these things, but they're not. It's the same thing that they've been pulling all the time with their shipping on comics to stores, right? It makes it look like people actually want these things. They don't. So this actually would feed into, if I'm correct here, and these are the people who actually are replying, are the people who are actually giving this tweet some consideration. 100% of them say no, they don't want this. So I'm looking at this and I'm going to keep track of these kinds of things, because if this is what is going on, I would say that feeds into my latest theory that, yeah, Marvel Comics are nothing more than a free pamphlet, a free advertisement, a newer version of what used to be a little ad you'd put in a paper for a movie. That's all it is now. That it is part of a multi-platform advertising campaign, and that they are just the free press part of it. And the suckers still paying $4 to $5 for the comics. Yeah, they're just paying for being advertised to. That's pretty much what it is, as far as I can see right now. I'm going to keep my eye on this and other kinds of content that come out of Marvel to see where this goes, and to really, because this is killing the comic industry. It is killing the comic industry. I would say I want to do a whole video on this, but right now I'm saying, yeah, really need to go find some good indie comics. Go look at Kickstarter. Go look at Indiegogo. We got to support these people as much as possible, because they are the only people who are actually going to give us any kind of quality at all, because they're the only ones actually interested in producing comics. All right. If I gave you anything new to think about, hit like, hit subscribe. Maybe I give you a laugh on this one. I'm not entirely sure. I laughed a lot more when I listened to it because I was just shaking my head so much. But hit like, hit subscribe, because we hopefully can use these ideas and this knowledge about Marvel to make our comic industry better and to get these people out of the comic industry. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.